Evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order this public hearing for Amani Charter School, Thursday, February 15th, 2024. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This public hearing is in reference to a revision application submitted to the New York State Department of Education for Amani Charter School to increase its grade span to add kindergarten through fourth grade to its current grade 5 through grade 8 configuration, and to make a corresponding increase to its authorized enrollment from 355 students to 570 students. Please come to the podium. When your name is called, you will have up to 3 minutes to speak. First, I'd like to introduce our acting superintendent of school, Dr. K. Veronica Smith.
Good evening, everyone. This evening, we will hear thoughts about charter schools within the Mount Vernon City School District. While I understand that parents have the right to choose schools, the expansion of charter schools in our district would serve to reduce the funding available to Mount Vernon City School District students. For every student sent to a charter school, the district must take money from the budget for the student to receive services at the charter school. Increasing the charter school grade span and further increasing their enrollment will take more money from our budget. This is a detriment to our students and the community at large, as the district will have fewer resources to service its students. Charter schools self-report their enrollment numbers, so the district is not able to verify the exact number of Mount Vernon students in the charter schools. Their records may be inaccurate or out of date. This can be costly to us because we are required to pay for the number of students that they report. Ultimately, the charter school tax bill falls to the taxpayers. Students in the district should not lack services because of other family school choices. We have managed to provide a budget without tax increases for years. We have managed, for that, and this is difficult when we must commit more and more funding to charter schools, which only serves a select number of students compared to the nearly 7,000 students that the district serves. Thank you.
Mr. Ken Silver.
Good evening, I'm Ken Silver. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Business, Mount Vernon Schools. I've been here for 10 years and watched the growth of the charter schools as they have taken away our students. Right now, we're looking at spending about $13 million on charter schools for the current year. Of that $13 million, about $5.7 million will go to Amani in the current year for about 307 children that they have. Under the governor's proposal, we lose $2.8 million in state aid because of a reduction in our population. That provision was called Hold Harmless and has for years made it such that we did not lose state aid, foundation aid, when enrollment dropped. If Amani's proposal to add kindergarten and first grade is successful, they would be able to have 100 children next year in kindergarten and first grade. I'm figuring perhaps 75 of those kids would come from us. So those children went to preschool, 3, preschool 4, then they leave us from their community schools and go to kindergarten at Amani. We would be looking at possibly another $1.4 million in additional charter school aid. We'd be up to almost $16 million next year if that happened with the increase in rates. A lot of people say we would save money. We could cut classes. But let's take those 75 kids, for example, and spread them over 12 elementary schools and and the kindergarten and first grade. It does not amount to enough to ever cut a teacher or to reduce it. Our teachers are dedicated to these children and have been for years. When our kids come from preschool into our kindergarten classes, they are ready for us and we are ready for them. They're in the same schools for the most part, and they do well. Under the hold harmless provision, we would not lose anything if those 75 children left our public schools and went to Amani. But with the governor's proposal of eliminating hold harmless, not only would we lose state aid for those 75 children, but we'd have to pay another $1.4 million to Amani for tuition. So it hurts us in both directions. We lose state aid, and we have to pay additional tuition to Amani. It may not be known by everybody, but Mount Vernon has about the lowest ability to pay in terms of per capita income of anybody in Westchester, Rockland, and Putnam County. This is a poor community. This $16 million is desperately needed by our community for these children. We have a city that is in deep financial trouble. About 10% of the properties have not paid their taxes going back to 2020 when we started collecting our own taxes. This is millions and millions of dollars that has caused us to be one of 3 school districts in New York State that's in severe fiscal distress. And there's nothing we can do about it until the city is able to pay us more of our taxes. But to pay Amani more money for having less state aid at the same time is so detrimental to this population that needs these dollars so badly. I urge whoever is in charge not to allow this additional grades to Amani for next year.
Deborah Stern.
Thank you so much. Oh, that doesn't. That's all right. That's awkward. Good evening, community and family. What should I do? Oh, okay. How's that? Okay. Good evening, community and family. I bring to this space today loving kindness as our foundation, and particularly offering that we have an ease of well-being with upon communication and compassion as our tools. So we might find moments of commonality today. With this framing, I want to share about our school's plan to expand parent choice here in Mount Vernon. Our intention is rooted in care for this community, for our scholars, and for each other. With wisdom and empathy as our guides, I humbly present the vision behind our request to expand Amani Public Charter Schools enrollment to include pre-K, K and 4th grade, not pre-K, K and 4th grade. The mission of Amani Public Charter School is to provide Mount Vernon students who attend the school from 5th through 8th grade with the academic and critical thinking skills necessary to succeed in competitive high school programs, college, and a career of their choice. As we grow to provide more choices for families, our commitment for each child remains steadfast. May I assure you that we maintain the highest standards to set up our students for success. This expansion will allow us to pave the way for even more children to realize their potential. Our dedication to Mount Vernon's youth grows through this expansion to provide excellent educational choices in our community. As Amani Public Charter School seeks to expand its enrollment capacity, the Mount Vernon Board of Education, I understand, grapples with understandable concerns. Growth often brings changes that can lead to uncertainty. However, may the board be at ease knowing that our motivations are pure to simply provide excellent educational opportunities to our families in the community. Lifting up one school does not require cutting down another. I hope that we can collaborate openly with the Mount Vernon Board of Education and the traditional public schools. Maintaining positive relationships focused on serving students' best interests should be at our core as we act in good faith to expand access to quality education. Hi, Lorna. Former parent. Good to see you. Amani Public Charter School has demonstrated consistently strong academic performance and financial stability over the past 13 years while serving middle school grades. Expanding to serve elementary school grades allows more students to benefit from Amani's effective teaching methods and rigorous curriculum. The school is well prepared for this expansion with experienced leadership, committed teachers, community support, and a feasible financial plan. While any growth brings some uncertainty, Amani has laid the proper groundwork for successfully broadening its reach. We can feel confident that this next step will provide more children and families access to a school that helps students thrive. I would like to leave you with this quote from Mari Matsuda from Only We Can Free Ourselves. Look to the east and make a promise to the ancestors to continue their work. Then look to the west, and my 3 minutes are up, I'm sorry, and make a promise to those who will come after. We will leave a record of our struggle to educate the children, to keep them from the master's prisons, to teach them that power resides in the pages of a book, to raise consciousness and raise fists for our liberation. Amani Public Charter Schools seeks to uplift the next generation through quality education that empowers students with knowledge and awareness. As we expand to serve more young scholars, we renew our commitment to equipping children with the academic and critical thinking skills that will set them up for success. Our growth allows more students to benefit from an educational model grounded in high standards and high expectations. This expansion enables us to further the work of those before us who fought to provide opportunity through education. Guided by wisdom and care, we can build a record of empowerment for the children and for this community. Thank you very much. Oh, and here you go.
Testing, test.
Keith McCall.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Keith McCall, and I'm the president of the Mount Vernon Federation of Teachers. I stand before you this evening to state emphatically the MVFT is against this charter expansion. Let me first start by saying that we support all the families who want what's best for our children, and everything that our children need are right within our public schools. Charter schools have the habit of cherry-picking students from communities that best fit their business model. So, for instance, if your child doesn't fit a particular mold of a student, they may not be welcome in to the charter school. Whereas in the public school, we welcome everyone in. Also, if students don't perform or meet certain expectations, the charter school can send them back out. Our public schools welcome all students. A recent poll that was conducted last year showed that 79% of voters and 80% of parents were actually opposed to any increase in the number of charters throughout New York State. This is our position at the MVFT. Charter schools don't share the same business practices within the local neighborhood as public schools do, and they're not subject to the same levels of accountability as the public schools. Also, charter schools drain financial resources from our public schools. With this expansion of Amani, this will have a severe impact on the finances of the Mount Vernon City School District, and we don't want to see that happen. With the Amani Charter School, approximately $6.3 million of aid is received between state and local funding. That's money that can be used for the students in the public schools. So once again, to reiterate, the Mount Vernon Federation of Teachers is firmly against the expansion of this charter school. Thank you.
Stephanie Edwards.
Oh, She was not able to come because of her.
Charlie Stern?
Oh, okay. I guess I have to get shorter. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Is it working? Oh, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Charlie Stern, and my wife Deborah and I are the co-founders of the Amani Public Charter School. I'm here this afternoon proudly to advocate on behalf of the expansion of Amani Public Charter School to grades K through 4. And that's really my main purpose for coming out here today. It feels like deja vu, because in 2011, well, thank you. Thank you. It feels like deja vu. I sat on this very dais for several years as a member of the Mount Vernon Board of Education, and for one long year as its president. And I certainly understand and empathize with the considerable financial pressures and complexities of running a school district. But I'm also hearing some non-facts that are being unfortunately propagated across this audience and more broadly. I hear a lot of talk about the financial impact to the district and how the charter schools are taking dollars from the district. When I would ask that the superintendent, consider closely what New York State's charter school was intended to do. It was intended to give parents an option, because parents need options. Students need options, and parents need options, and that's what the charter school law is intended to provide. And the dollars that you're talking about don't belong to the school district. They belong to the kids. And the whole essence of charter schools is that the dollars follow the children from their school district of residence to their school of choice. That's how the law is written. That's the spirit and intent. And that's exactly how it's operationalized. The dollars follow the children. And while we're at it, what we should be asking is, why don't all the dollars follow the children? Why does a child go to a charter school and the charter school tuition is 20 or 30% less than the amount of money that the child has when they're in the regular public schools? That's the question that we should all be asking, because they're equally valuable children when they're in a charter school as to when they're in a regular public school. We also heard some commentary here that the charter schools are cherry-picking the kids. I don't know who came up with that. It's the oldest thing in the book. I can assure you, Amani Public Charter School is not cherry-picking anybody. The school accepts whoever applies. If we have more applications than there are seats, then there's a lottery, and the kids are selected randomly. But there's no entry criteria, there's no means test, there's no academic test. You simply sign up and you go, just like a regular public school, because charter schools are public schools. As far as accountability is concerned, I don't work at the charter school. I do something else. I have a very demanding job, and I don't work there. But I have a pretty good sense from my wife, who does, that the level of accountability in charter schools is extraordinary. There's audits, there's financial reporting requirements, there are all the things that the regular public schools have to do. So we're not draining resources from anybody. That's just pure baloney. I'm here to advocate for the expansion of Amani Public Charter School to grades K through 4 so that parents have options. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Board President Lorna Kerwin.
Good evening. Yes. My name is Lorna Kerwin. I am the school board president and the chair for the budget committee. Tonight, I would like to address the concerns surrounding increasing the grade level at Amani Charter School. You see, listening to Mr. Charlie, is that your name? Sorry. I know the money follows each child that resides in Mount Vernon, but the problem with the charter school and the public school is that the charter school does take the money from the public school that is allocated for the public school to educate the kids in the public school. You see, currently the district pays a whopping $18,000 per child at the charter school with an enrollment of 307 students. That's a total of $5,700,000 that's been taken away from the public school. Now, as you may know, the school district is under physical stress as per the state comptroller. With that said, adding additional classes to the charter school, that's just going to put the public school, in deeper financial stress. Amani is also selective with their student enrollment. They do not enroll students with special needs, which leaves the district with a disproportionate number of students who require additional resource from the public school. Also, the district, as it may right now, provide a nurse to the charter school, which is also taken away from the school district. If the state allows this expansion, it surely will weaken the financial needs of the public school. Again, bear in mind, we are under physical stress, according to the state. I would also want to say that, the school district, as the budget chair, we are operating on a bare minimum. What that does mean is that we have no fund balance. We in negotiation with the teacher union. Could you hear me? Yes. And in addition, again, Governor Hochul announced just a couple weeks ago that the state will be cutting almost $3 million from the budget, from state aid from the school district. Now, you tell me, how is it, yes, kids are allowed, parents are allowed to choose which school they go to, but with the expansion, that simply means that kids would be then allowed to take additional funds that the school district doesn't have to a Amani charter school. So I would just say this financial disadvantage will really impact the school district. And with that said, it would put a strain on the available school district funds that potentially could lead into budget cut, staff layoffs, and reduced program offering to our public students. So I would ask the state to please consider, as you state that Mount Vernon is on financial stress and you're cutting our resources, to please deny this offer. I thank you.
Dr. Crystal Waterman.
Good evening, members of the Mount Vernon community. My name is Dr. Crystal Waterman. I am the president of the Mount Vernon Administrators Group, as well as a principal here in Mount Vernon. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about the proposal of the Amani Charter School expanding from a 5th through 8th grade school to a K through 8th grade school. On behalf of the 62 administrators that we have here in the city of Mount Vernon, who bring over 200 years of experience in educational leadership, I am here to state that we are opposed to this expansion. As the school leaders, we know firsthand exactly what happens in the school building day to day. First, I'd like to discuss our school data. As we know, over the past several years, the Mount Vernon Public Schools have been working emphatically to increase test scores for all of our students and ensure that all children have literacy and numeracy skills on or above grade level. As the data currently presents itself, it appears that the Amani Charter School is outperforming our public schools. However, when you dig a little deeper into that data, the reality is that the current 5th through 8th grade students at Amani Charter School are disproportionately selected that don't quite represent the school population. Let me give you some numbers. First of all, Amani has approximately, and according to New York State's data last year, 338 students, according to the state report card. Of those students, the number of students who are English language learners at Amani are 7. 7 children who are learning the language. Yet, in our public schools, we have 510 children who are learning to speak English and are expected to be proficient in reading and math. As far as students with disabilities, Amani Charter School's data, according to the state report card last year, has 15 children with a disability, while the public schools have a whopping 1,267 children with disabilities, and that number grows every single day. Despite the challenges, the data for our ELA and math scores district-wide are still competitive with Amani, which means that the education that is being provided there is not necessarily so much more efficient than what we are already providing for our children. With that said, the funding then that is diverted from the children that we have here, coming from the taxpayer dollars and are filtered to the Amani school, are coming from the children who are the neediest in our school population that we are educating and they are not. Second, after polling the 62 administrators in our school district, our high school administrators have reported to us that children who come to the high schools out of 8th grade from Amani Charter School are not prepared when it comes to being they're academically deficient and lack necessary skills in order to perform well in advanced coursework. In addition, they struggle to catch up with their peers and they perform poorly on exams. In addition to that, the students don't have access to programs such as clubs, to programs such as athletics, to music programs, to art programs, and they, again, are deficient when they arrive at our secondary schools. Finally, when the funding comes up, one final point. At our schools, in the elementary schools, the parents who come back to the public schools have indicated to us, and I quote, "There's no rigorous education happening over there." And what happens is when the money goes with the children to the charter schools, and then they either are not allowed to remain there because they can't handle them discipline-wise, as Mr. McCall stated, and they come back to us, those funds don't come back to the public schools with them, they remain at the charter schools, therefore providing a deficiency for us. I'll conclude with this. Parents have a choice. We are providing a quality education for our students here in the public schools of Mount Vernon. Parents are required to follow certain requirements at charter schools, or otherwise their children are not allowed to remain. I'd like our parents, our community, to imagine if we all came together and supported our public schools with those same expectations. If we work together and cooperate on behalf of our children from K through 12, I want you to imagine the possibilities that our children will have in the future. Instead of us creating this us against them, let's come together, support our children, support our students, and we ask you to support our public schools. Thank you very much.
Gina Sardi? Gina Sardi? Hi, I'm just going to ask first to be mindful of the time, so we're giving you the 3 minutes, okay?
Very
Perfect, thank you.
I'm just here to support the Amani Charter School. I recently became a board member there, and I've known Deborah for a long time. We started a school at the same time. I was the founder, retired now, and principal of the New York City Montessori Charter School. What I want to support and what I want to say is that, I want to reiterate, and I hear everybody talking about different things about charter schools. I'm hoping that the truths will come out about all of that. But I do know that at Amani they offer a very rigorous and very supportive environment for children, and the extension for the K through 4 is a way to set a strong foundation for these students as they move towards middle school and success later on in school. I know that the staff at Amani is very caring and very rigorous in their teaching, and they're dedicating to educating every child, no matter what that child needs. Thank you.
Cynthia Crenshaw, thank you.
Excuse me, please grab and speak into the mic so people online can hear.
Good evening. I think they can hear me. I am a Mount Vernonite. I am a taxpayer in Mount Vernon, and I know for a fact that our money that the taxpayer put in this building, the money should not be going to Amani schools. We pay so much taxes to educate our children. And as far as the education, I went through Mount Vernon school system. The superintendent went through the Mount Vernon school system, and all of us, the mayor went through Mount Vernon school system, and we all have a very good education. Thus, Amani has all of their teachers certified. At the meeting that I had at the Parker School, a teacher that teaches there told me that the teachers are not certified. We have so much more resources than Amani School. Even as far as taking the kids out to get air, I believe all the kids stay in the auditorium. They do not, you don't have no playground area. But not only that, the resources we have in our public schools are simply excellent. We support our special ed. We support our kids that have some type of academic problems. We have so much resource. And as a taxpayer and as a PTA parent for over 4 decades, I do not, and I'm going to stress, want my taxpayer dollars to go to a Amani school, to go to a charter school. And I'm asking the state to please consider what everyone said up here. Make your mind which way it should go. Our schools, all the teachers are certified. The assistants are certified. Everybody is certified in that school. So please consider and do not allow this to go through. We are already stressed. And if you really want to help Mount Vernon, why are you doing this now when we are in a stressful year? If you want to help, wait for a couple of more years down the road when Mount Vernon is up, we're making money, our budget is looking good, to come to us for this. Why would you want to do this? And I really think the main thing is that they are trying to collapse one of our schools so that they can maybe take over their building, but this is not fair what you're doing. Come to us, when we're in good standing. Don't try to break us down when we are financially stressed. I'm a taxpayer, and I do not want my tax dollars to go to Amani School, to go to any charter school in Mount Vernon. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Ward? Ms. Ward? All right. That brings to the end of our public hearing for Amani. If anyone would like to write a letter, you still have until next week to send it in to me, and I will carry that on to New York State. All right, thank you. Meeting is adjourned.